and welcome back everybody. October 30th, 2023, and just 5 days after devastating Hurricane Otis makes landfall near Acapulco, Mexico, we now have yet another threat in Tropical Storm PILAR, and is now the reason why El Salvador has declared a state of emergency. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says it is expected to dump heavy rains and cause flooding along the coast within the next 48 hours. The government issued a red alert, which is the highest of a 4-level scale. The emergency decree will enable the government to direct funds to handle the situation. Now, that last part where they talk about the funds, I think is very significant, because we can all agree that the coverage and aid that the situation in Acapulco has been a very controversial topic as far as the coverage and the financial aid that's being focused on that area. Now, there's a few things I want to point out here. One being the fact that PILAR is just a tropical storm at the moment with 50-mile-per-hour winds, and as of right now through the weekend is expected to kind of trail off into the Pacific, leaving the western coast of El Salvador, Guatemala, and then Mexico out of harm's way. But as we all now know, pretty much the same exact projection was forecast for Hurricane Otis before taking that dramatic path right into Acapulco, becoming the strongest storm to ever make landfall in Mexico, going from a tropical storm to a Category 5, 165 miles per hour in just a 12-hour period. Now take a look at these spaghetti plots. Within just the last few hours, a few of these plots have now peeled off and shown signs of looping back into the west coast of Mexico, almost in the exact same area as Hurricane Otis. Now, if we take a look at the possible development areas, this entire area in the pink and red, which includes the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean, is still in perfect conditions for hurricane formation. In fact, at the same time, we have multiple situations and areas being monitored in the southern Caribbean and also up by the Bahamas. So just because we are on the back end of hurricane season, we cannot take any of these situations lightly, especially after the record-breaking storm in Hurricane Otis. Now, I want to show you two satellite views here. This one is from October 23rd as Hurricane Otis was approaching the western coast of Mexico. I want you to notice the setup of this entire situation, including the Atlantic Ocean. We had a system out here making its way above the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico, including a system that was wrapped up from Texas and bends into the central United States. Now, if I switch over to current time, we see a very similar setup. Here is Tropical Storm PILAR. We have a system stretching from Texas, even a little bit south into Mexico and the Gulf, and wrapping up into the United States, including another system up by the Bahamas. I'll switch back to this satellite view, again from October 23rd, and then moving to current time, we see a lot of similarities going on a larger scale. Now, with all that said, we can't guarantee one way or another that PILAR will in fact be a threat to any part of El Salvador, Guatemala, or the west coast of Mexico, but after the situation with Hurricane Otis, all hands will be on deck as far as monitoring what is going to go on with Tropical Storm PILAR in the very near future. And again, I can't stress enough that just because we are entering the month of November and the last 30 days of the official Atlantic hurricane season, take a look at these water temperatures. Very much above normal, going all the way up to the Gulf. That includes the Gulf Stream that comes down underneath southern Florida and all the way up the southeastern coast, meaning all of these areas, specifically the red colors, are still highly favorable for cyclone formation. In fact, since 1871, there have been 123 tropical systems form in the month of November in the Atlantic Ocean alone. And out of those 123 systems, 63 have become hurricanes. So all in all, there is still a lot to look out for within the next month when it comes to these systems and what they're capable of doing. Very quickly, my friends, please go and subscribe to the Twitter and the Instagram channels I have, where I post a lot of the content you see here, as well as stuff that I really don't want to put on YouTube, if you know what I'm saying. All the links for that are down in the description box. All right, I appreciate you all for taking the time to watch this video. Please leave your thoughts and comments below. Shout out to Canada, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.